and welcome to another Scots Whay podcast. And this is our Best Music of 2019 podcast. I'm going to say part one, because I'm joined by Mark and Gary from Cumbernauld FM's Postcards from the Underground show. Hello, guys.
Hello. Hello.
And I say this is part one because I'm going to return the favour and be on your show on the
8th of December.
8th of December, which we don't know when this is going out, so it's either going to be in the future or I will have been, but we'll let you know about that. And on that show, we're going to talk about our favourite albums of the year. But I thought for this, we'll just do what we normally do, and just talk about the Scottish music of the last year. So, do you have highlights that you could talk about?
Gary?
Very good, Mark. Well, I kind of, the way I broached this and the kind of idea that Mark had gave me about this was kind of looking at it from a singles and tracks point of view.
Yeah, that's what I think we should do, definitely.
So, the first thing that came straight into my head was Memes Blah Blah Blah. Was probably, I would say, my single of the year.
You've mentioned this on the show quite a lot.
Yeah. I just love that track. 2 minutes, two and a half minutes maybe. It's just...
But sometimes you get a track that just absolutely sticks with you, and you can just say, that is, for some reason, that stuck with me through the whole year, or... I mean, there's plenty of those, I think, but yeah, often there's one which absolutely sticks out. For me, Lola and Slack's Postscript in Blue.
Which you played in our show.
That's right. But that has stuck with me. I mean, that came out in the early part of the year, I think, about March or something like that. And since seen them live and all of that kind of thing. But yeah, that track is just such a quality single, and it's totally stuck with me.
Well, I would say that with Memes with Blah Blah Blah.
I think
it just stuck, it resonated and stuck. I wouldn't say there's much to it. It's not the most complicated track, but it's just kind of in your face and good 2.5 minutes, kind of.
Well, I think the one that's kind of stuck with me is Domiciles. And we first saw Domiciles in the Old Hairdressers.
Yes.
And seeing them live is just incredible.
Yeah.
The noise that they just put out is unbelievable. And the album, the singles, everything they've released so far has been absolutely fantastic.
It's funny, they're a band that a few years ago, maybe as much as 3 years ago, can it be that? Maybe not as many as that. My brother, who lives up in Braemar, got in touch and said, I've just heard this band Domiciles, I've heard one thing from them and I absolutely love it. And then I didn't hear much about them until last night from Glasgow said they were going to be putting out the album, and then the singles started coming out. And as you say, to see them live is something else.
I think
I've seen them out with, and they played in the British Legion, kind of all places, and it was really, really good. They were really, really good.
So it's the track, the opening track of the album, 6 Degrees of Separation. I just think what a way to open an album. Mm-hmm. Because it just starts and it builds up for about a minute and a half. This long intro that I think there's so much going on in the track, but it's so tied in together. And the sound of the drums in it as well, because we had spoke about the drummer the last time, Oren Moore, and the way the drums tied, there's so many synths going on, the guitars, I just think it's brilliant, and the drumming just ties it all in. It's
one of these weird things that I've noticed over the last year, probably before, but for this year in particular, it's come to my attention. There's so many great drummers around, and as there probably always has been, but I've noticed it with the bands, ones that really stick out, almost like real masters of their instrument. And the guy from Domiciles, sorry, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, is fantastic. Yeah. But as you say, live, I mean, I've seen them a couple of times, maybe 3 times live, and they seem to, what's clever about what they do is they seem to tailor it to the venue that they're playing. Yeah. Because if they played as loudly as they did or more in the Old Hairdressers, we would all have lost our hearing.
Aye, because it was, I think that was this year, wasn't it? It was 3 bands, 3 cities.
Yes.
They were supposed to do Glasgow, Edinburgh and Dundee, but the Dundee one fell through.
Because they would have blown the amp in the place, they were playing it in Dundee.
And that, they only done 5 tracks in the Old Hairdressers, but it must have been about 25 minutes or something to sit.
Yeah, and I think we both looked at each other and thought, wow, this is good.
Aye, it was one of these moments that you think that this is something special.
Yeah.
This is something that's going to have a lot of legs, and it'll be a sticker. And the album just did not disappoint for me.
No, it's an incredible.
It's a good album.
Yeah. Any other tracks that jumped out at you? I've tell you one that stuck with me right from the very beginning. From January, and again, I'm wary about talking about albums, but it does come from a very good album. But it was Sister John's "She's the One."
Yeah.
Because it didn't sound like anything they'd done previously. You know, it was a kind of Velvet Underground vibe to it, and you know, drums been played. You know, on the rim of the drum, and just it was fantastic. And a real kind of joyous return for them after their first album.
Yeah. Again, we saw them in stereo.
Yep.
And they were fantastic live. And Ian had come into the show back in January, I think it was.
January, February, yeah.
Ian from Last
Night from Glasgow. So he'd come in and done a takeover show. And he'd picked out Sister John.
He'll be delighted. We've mentioned him twice. We're only 5 minutes. We're only 5 minutes in.
And yeah, it was one of the tracks that did stand out in the show for me as well. I think it was She's the One that he played in the show.
Yeah, I think it was.
I can't remember. I don't have the playlist at hand and I can never remember these things. You're usually better at that.
No, can't remember that.
So, you're talking about people coming on the show, and I've been on the show myself. I think it'd be a good time to talk a little bit about the show. So was it this year you started?
No, it was last year we started. So Cumbernauld FM is a local radio station, and they put out a message on Facebook saying we need presenters. Mm-hmm. And at the time I thought, well, my other half had sent me a link to it, and I was just sitting watching TV, and I thought, well, do you know, why not give this a bash? So I typed up this message, and I said, no experience, not a clue what I'll do, but I'll come in and do a show. And then Stephen, the station coordinator, phoned me 3 minutes later and said, yeah, that's fine, do you want to start next week? And I foolishly said yes. Well, not foolishly.
No, definitely, yes. I don't foolishly, no.
And then as soon as I'd hung up the phone, I think I texted you straight away and said, we're doing a radio show. You didn't
so your press gang, didn't it?
Yeah, that was it. I knew nothing about it.
Yeah, so we started, and I don't know, I think from where we are now and from where we started, I don't think, we didn't have any idea of what we were going to do. Mm-hmm. We thought we'd just be playing stuff from our own collections and talking about that. But then all of a sudden people started sending us emails with tracks, and then Lindsay done a lot of admin stuff, so she'd put up like an email, because we've got no technical ability at all, so she created an email account and Twitter accounts and all this kind of stuff, and then we just kind of went with it, and we fired off a few emails. And I was thinking about this today actually. We'd sent a message off to Rock Action asking, just saying, look, we do a radio show, can you send us some music to play? And they put us on to Ewan Hall at the Peer Group, who before we had no idea who he was, didn't know anything about the Peer Group. Mm-hmm. But he came back to us, and at the start he was a really good help, because he kind of directed us. He said, right, well, get a Mixcloud account, do this, do that. So he kind of guided us a wee bit, and it was kind of invaluable information for us, because I go back to we didn't know. I run a coffee shop, you're a postie.
Yeah.
And we just kind of stumbled onto it.
But it's been real, you know, and you've really supported Scottish music. I mean, it's not just Scottish music that you play, but
no,
you've really, you know, supported a lot of bands and had them on, and had myself on, and had, you know, folk who run record labels and things.
I think we've always both had quite a good interest in music. I think we're quite...
Well, we're sitting here in your room with your...
I can tell
that. Yeah, so I would say we're probably quite geeky about it, to a certain extent.
That's what you need to be to do these things.
To do these things. But then, I think from not doing it to doing it, I don't think you realised just how great a music scene was on our doorstep.
Yeah, well, I certainly didn't. I would say I came into it not thinking. I had my opinions on music and stuff, and you knew, you kind of went along, and it was buying music, buying CDs and stuff like that, and buying stuff. But this has opened a whole new... loads of new doorways into different bands that I probably wouldn't have seen and stuff like that. And it was like, you know, I was quite ignorant towards it and didn't really realise. And that's now, it's like, well, if we can in some way get other people to see that as well and come up, you know, take them in the same journey we've kind of been on, then it's a good thing.
Because when you look back, we had Cloth in session in September last year, and then they've just put out their first album and things like that. So not to be part of it, but to see that kind of growing and see how it grows.
It is part of it, and I don't know whether it's just similar as, you know, a show on the now defunct LP radio, and but I was already, you know, writing about bands and all that kind of stuff. it does seem to me in the last year, maybe 2 years, there's been a real explosion of radio again.
Yeah.
You know?
No, it's nice. And I think that is true. There's shows on the station which we don't necessarily listen to as our taste, but there's a boy Ryan that he just tries to do unsigned stuff, and he seems to do alright with his show. He gets guests in as well. He'd who was it?
Primes
he had in recently, and then there's another one, George, who does a show that kind of goes back into Scottish music as well, but again he brings it forward with not Scottish music.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's nice for us. I don't think we've had.
Well, I think, for me, when we started, I always went in the assumption that nobody was listening.
When I started the website, I went in the assumption that no one was reading it, so I totally understand that.
Eventually you start to get communications of people actually saying, I was listening, and I went to see a band the other week from Seattle, Cozy Slippers, and I never heckled them, I shouted something out to the band regarding a track that they'd played. And the guy actually, we asked to play the track, and we played it on last week's show, and he very kindly sent us the track over. But he says, when you shouted out, I knew it was you because I'd been listening from your voice on the radio, and I was like that. And Lemon Drink done the same when I introduced myself at the Oran Moor last night from Glasgow all day as well. And he says, I recognise your voice. And you go, nah, this is good. It takes a wee while for that to sink into your head, you know? It's a bit strange, you know?
Aye. But no, it's been fun. And then again, we launched a website as well. Lindsay launched a website, which we're still kind of finding our feet with, because I think it's a juggling act. So you're working a full-time job, you're doing a radio show, and although it's only 1 day a week, it doesn't take up a great amount of time, but I find it takes more time than I would realise.
Do you think, because I found that you're almost thinking about it all the time.
I'm constantly thinking, I can sit and make a cappuccino thinking, right, what order will I play this track in? But it's nice, and that's the part that I really enjoy on it, is putting together, because you came in 1 week and
you were delighted.
I was so happy that everything just flowed so well, and when you get a show like that, I think it comes across. And the past couple of weeks, I think we've done, I don't want to sound big-headed, but I think our show's been great.
Go for
it. No, I think the show's the past few weeks as well, and we do have a nice mix of Scottish music, but for me, I didn't want to just focus on Scottish things.
Fair enough, absolutely.
Because I think as well down in Wales, there's such an amazing music scene happening in Wales, and it's Welsh language as well, which I think is really nice. But that isn't.
But we didn't come just from a Scottish music scene.
No, we didn't.
You know what I mean? Like, we're friends started through the Charlatans. Fair enough, Ball Boy would be Scottish, but Gorgie Zygotic Monkeys. So these were kind of the first kind of gigs we went to together.
Yeah. I know, I think we've been friends for...
I chaperoned you because I'm far older than you and took you along.
You took me under your wing. Gigs on you and was underage.
Not quite, I was overage by that point.
So we can maybe talk a bit more about that, but let's go back to the music of the year. Have you got any other tracks on your extensive list that we could...
I think... there's one joint one actually. There's a joint one that we both agreed on, and you said, you can't pick that because... I'm picking that one.
Is that second in my list I'm going to show you?
That is second in your list.
Second in your list. And the starting point for this would be one of the things with doing a radio show was if somebody sends you in a track and you've got to know them, do you have to play the track if say they send you something and because you've got to know them you don't like it? And I remember getting this track through and thinking, I hope this is good. And I was not disappointed. I love this track. The Map Department, Carousel.
Ah, yes.
Sadly now no more of the Map Department, but we kind of got to know them. Aaron and Ben, the drummer and stuff, and Ollie on guitar, and Ralph, and you think, wow, no, really, and then you just go, wow, no, I really do like this track.
It's a tremendous track. Scott's his relationship with Aaron, it goes back quite a bit. He was on a podcast way back at the start, used to play his individual music, which was much more kind of lo-fi electronica.
It's kind of soundscapes.
Yeah, exactly that sort of thing. Oh, you should check it out, definitely. Yeah. I think it's all still pretty discoverable. But when I heard the new band, I was like, this is great, because I just think he's tremendous. And then, like, you went to see them, got to know them. There is that worry when someone sends you something, whether it's music or books or anything, if you do get to know them, you're thinking, oh, is this, what am I going to do? And what I tend to do is, if I really don't like it, I just don't write about it.
Yeah.
And I know that's not brilliant when they've sent you it, but I think people hopefully would understand.
No, I think
if you say it's just not my thing, rather than trying to gush about something that you think I'm not really into it.
Yeah. Well, definitely Carousel, and I've went back to it a few times, and I do really like it. I put a wee list together and played my tracks today. The kind of, I kind of picked 10. I don't know if we'll get through all 10, but certainly that is a really good song. And as I say, sadly, I think they're no more as a band, but they were a band I was looking forward to seeing develop. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen. But hopefully Aaron is going to do some more stuff, because they were good live as well. Because was it Rest?
Yes.
Yeah,
we seen them supporting.
So Rest are an interesting band. They're not on my list. They could well have been, but that was Hagen Pint, wasn't it?
That was a Hagen Pint, yes.
And it's what struck me about them was I'd never really heard of them. They hadn't released it. This was their album launch, I think.
Yeah, it was their
launch. It was packed, and as I looked around, everyone seemed to know the words. And that's a sign of a band who really have quickly got a following, I think.
Yeah, well, we saw them early in the summer.
Well, I'd seen them at the South by South side.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd seen them at that, and we'd asked them for tracks earlier, quite a bit earlier, and they'd sent us tracks.
Well, I'd only kind of I turned up halfway through this set, but I think they were fantastic. And I think, I don't want to say anything, right? They're not anthems, but... You could see them in a big venue, and I think that comes across.
Yeah, well, my wife was at it, Caroline was at it, and she fell in love with them. She absolutely loves them. If you were probably going to say her album of the year, she would probably be picking this as her album of the year. And it's very high up mine, but we'll get to that when you're on your show.
Yeah, no spoilers here. Surely no spoilers here. And I think another band who I think we've all seen, because we should say to listeners, we have bumped into each other at quite a lot this year, is Broken Chanter. Now, I could have picked nearly any track from the album, but the one I've gone for is Wholesale, just because it's my favourite track from that record. But Broken Chanter had a great year.
They've played at a couple of things that we've been at, but I've only managed to catch them once, and it was at Oranmore, and what a set. Yeah. It really was.
Yeah.
It was
so
incredible.
That was full band. Because what David McGregor, who basically is Broken Chanter, and he used to be in Kid Canaveral, it's a great idea. He's written these songs that can be played solo, as I've seen him do, or just him and one other, or full band as it was at Oranmore, which was, and they're almost like a super group. I mean, the different people that play with them.
Yeah, because he was part of the first In Deep for Last Night from Glasgow as well. But I had to leave because we were doing a show, so I'd skipped out before he had played. But again, he was just doing that on his own.
Well, you picked that track. I went for Cheering in the Distance from that, and I don't know. The thing about music is when somebody writes something and puts something in a certain way, and it kind of catches you off guard. Yeah. And I want to try and remember the lyrics specifically. Through damp eyes, all lights are twinkling. All stars are twinkling. All lights are twinkling. We're lumbering and things are moving fast, and things can be lumbering. And that's definitely not the lyrics, but it's a long day. It's a long day lines. And I remember being at a very specific place, and that being exactly the feeling that I had, and I couldn't sum it up. I'd never be able to sum it up, and I don't know what he's particularly talking about in that song. Yeah, but it's even a song kind of catches you. Catches you, and it goes, he's summed up something there for me. He's caught a moment in my life. Now, that might not have been what he was necessarily going for or whatever, but that's what I find so good about that. Even like for me, that's the best song on the track. But the track before it as well, Don't Move to Denmark.
Oh, amazing.
It's a beautiful track as well. And it was just the way he put it, but that track for me just stood out because it just kind of caught a moment, just the way he said it. And he has, as you said, it's a kind of super group. If we'd been doing this last year, I think we'd both have had number one. You've got a foul-mouthed John Barleycorn by Ultras, Gav Prentice band. And he actually is in this one. He sings in this as well, and you can hear him quite clearly in it if you know who he is. If you know who Gav is, and then you know the band Ultras, which we'll give you a plug in for them as well, because that's a really good album as well.
I think I probably went for Wholesome because I think it might have been the first track I heard as Broken Chanter. I think that so you were like, wow,
I think it
this
was
is
the first
something very different from what he's done before, and just fantastic. I think it's really good, and as you say, great live as well. So who else have you had on the show? Because you've had live performances, haven't you?
Yeah, so we
had Rest on, who we were just talking about.
The most recent was Nico and Elliot.
Ah, right.
They'd come in 2 weeks ago, I think it was.
Yep.
And done just a wee acoustic set, and they were fantastic, they were brilliant.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun doing that.
So they've released 2 singles, I think, this year, both of which have been really standout. Andrew Nichol and Rachel Elliott, yeah. I wasn't trying to catch out. I genuinely couldn't remember. That's one thing I should say. My memory is terrible.
Oh, my memory is terrible.
Andrew Nichol and Rachel Elliott, who are, I mean, there's no hiding. It's kind of country Americana
it's
style.
Americana down the line, and we had quite a nice chat about Americana and different things along the way with that. So it's nice to talk to them, and they were lovely. But that's the one thing that I have found, that everyone that we've been in on the show has been.
Well, everybody, since we've just went along the lines of if you chance your arm and ask, then you might get. And in most cases, we've done all right.
I think one of the things on the show, one of the guests that kind of took me by surprise was we had Layla Josephine come in, and I've never really done poetry. It's not something that I've ever thought of. But I saw her earlier at the Flying Moon Festival,
right?
Which was Moonstruck on Clydeside.
Yeah.
And I'd watched her set, and I thought, do you know what, I want to get her in for the show because that is brilliant. And when she came in, it was just a lot of fun doing that show, and we talked about her show at the Edinburgh Fringe, Daddy Drag, and it was just a really nice experience. It was a really nice conversation that I had with her, and you were off, so Lindsay came up with me. So it was quite nice having that different aspect as well of someone else doing a show.
Because I
did miss you. I should say.
Very much prominent in the spoken word scene, as you say, the poetry scene as well. But also, did she play her own music, or was it just? No,
she just she read 2 poems. I think it was.
It was 2 poems. I remember because I was listening in from Mexico.
Aye, so she just read out 2 poems for us, and like I said, poetry wasn't something that I'd ever really considered that we would be doing on the show. But
then we had Kevin Peagleday in, and Ralph, I know that's got the musical slant to it more than the...
Yeah.
But that is what Kevin Peagleday does, is poetry, although I think he's moving more into doing with what he's doing with the Glasgow Cross.
Well, the songs that I've heard for the next album, there's singing in them. And he sings actually really good. But I haven't messaged him back to tell him that, and I keep thinking, I need to message him and tell him I love those tracks.
Oh, well, Kevin, if you're listening to this, I hope you are. You know that...
the new tracks are brilliant.
Yeah. Kevin just turned his hand to anything. You know, we had him on a podcast earlier this year, just before he was going to Edinburgh to do his show. And he, we talked about Sonic Youth, and we talked about Glasgow Cross, and his own poetry collection, which had just come out as well. And you just think he's one of these guys. I think, how have you got the time to do anything else? But he certainly manages. He manages to keep going, and I'm really looking forward to that album when it comes out.
Yeah, because Ralph's been in a couple of times for us.
I've got 2 singles from people that came in and done shows that we've not mentioned.
Okay, when you go.
Both of them, I think, they kind of merged together in my head in a kind of strange way, because they've both taken me away when I've seen them, being blown away with them.
Oh, yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Michael Timmins, what was his name, his single again? The Games Room, and he came in. We seen him, me and Caroline seen him in Munich. He was supporting the Twilight Sad, and we went over to see him. We went over to see the Twilight Sad, and I remember he came on stage, and I was like, wow, what a voice this guy's got. This is amazing. And then when he came in, and he came in, and we asked him while we were in Munich, do you fancy coming in? And he said yes, and he came in, done a session, and I've seen him in King Tut's as well, and he just has a powerful voice and just everything about it I just really, really like.
So what kind of music is he making? What's the single like?
Oh, that's a good question, isn't it?
It's him and an electric guitar.
It's him and an electric guitar, and he plays the guitar, which I asked him, didn't I? I said, do you play the guitar different? He's kind of self-taught, so he plays it kind of different with a lot Well, he'd asked us for reverb in the studio, and we had no ability.
Yeah, we kind of did each other and thought, nah,
sorry, Michael.
That's not something that we can do.
We need to let you down on that one, but he's really good. I can't remember what his last album was called, Grey Bones or something like that.
It rings a bell.
Along that line, and then this is the next single. I'm sure he'd said he'd been working on a second album, and we'd kind of been looking for it to come out, and it was
then he was
almost
getting traction from the first album, so he's kind of holding off.
Yeah, and we've not really heard from him for a while. But it's still, and that was early. Was that March? Sometime, something like that.
Possibly
possibly him. And again, the next person that I was going to go down the lines of who I've seen, and I don't know, you just stand somewhere and you think, wowee, and it's Annie Booth.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'd never heard of Annie Booth. She'd had albums out before, and this is what we were talking about earlier, about you suddenly find somebody and you think, or you hear somebody and they come across, and she very kindly came in as well at the studio and done a track. But look, when we seen her at Aura Moore the other week, she's just standing there with her guitar, and you're like, where's that coming from?
We're talking tracks of the year. Annie's certainly on my list, and I think she's one of the best songwriters around. I just think they're amazing.
Yeah.
Her songs are incredible. It's like you say, it captures a moment and it kind of takes you out yourself, and you don't really know what the song's about necessarily, but you can put yourself into them.
Well, we actually asked her. There was a song. It's not the song. I went with Still off our EP from this year.
Yeah.
Spectral,
which is one of the best releases of the year, I think.
I picked Mirage from that EP.
Yeah.
And I picked Magic 8, so
there you go.
you could definitely get it.
That's sorted.
But she done a track. We went to see her for she was playing in stereo. Playing in stereo, and she done a track, and I actually remember a wee tear shed from the eye. I was like, wow, she's amazing. And when she was in the studio, I said to her, I says, I don't want to influence the next. She says, I can play anything next. Is there anything? And I says, no, just whatever. And she never played that track, but I asked her about it later on, and she'd said she'd put herself in a position of kind of splitting up with her boyfriend, which is totally different to the way I interpreted the song. But it was just beautiful, and just looks, I know this is terrible, she just kind of looks small and kind of delicate, and then boom, she sings, and you're like, wow. It's just that wow factor for me, and she's absolutely the highlight of seeing Annie Booth, and as I say, I didn't know her before, coming across that and going, wow, I really like this. I think she's really special.
Because I knew she was with Mount Doubt, and then she did an album on Unforgiven Light, I think it's called.
Yeah.
Which is a good album, but I think the collection of songs on Spectral, as we've kind of suggested, another level, really took it to a different level, and yeah, I think she's got a big future ahead of her. She already is fantastic now. Yeah. A band, again, I think maybe when I was on your show mentioned them, but I want to mention them again because I just think they're amazing. It's Half Formed Things.
See, I thought you might mention them. Yeah. Because I remember you raving about them.
Yeah. Well, I'm still am, and no album talk. But we did a podcast, or I did a podcast with them again earlier in the year. That's always a sign when I really like a band, when I actually seek them out to go and talk to them for what ended up being about an hour and a half. It was a great chat. But just something really different, and the track, The Apostate, which I think actually is an older track, but because the album came out this year, I thought that was one to pick. But they're a band, if you haven't heard them yet, they do check out.
I think we've only heard them on the show. You've seen them?
Yeah, I saw them again at the Flying Moon Festival. Yeah, they played at that.
They're incredible live, I think.
Yeah, I think, I can't remember if I stayed for the whole set. Because you weren't at that one.
No, I wasn't.
I
was away as well, I think.
You were probably somewhere on holiday.
Yep.
No,
you get your international listening figures by going around the world.
I think February was the first track from them that we played in the show.
That's right.
And I think, again, going back to kind of the show, it was something that I found out that there was this music scene in Edinburgh. You had Lou McLean doing tracks, you had Half Formed Things, and I don't think we actually realised just how much was going on in Edinburgh before we had started the show as well.
Yeah.
Because I think there's this feeling when you're in the West Coast that, Glasgow in particular is rammed full of bands, and but there's maybe not as many venues in Edinburgh, but I think there's as many bands.
Oh no, it's been there's quite a lot going on in Edinburgh as well, and it's nice.
I think Rest are based there as well, for mentioning them again, but there's a few, definitely. It's quite exciting.
Aye. No, I would agree with that.
I always like to mention the guys from Errant Media who released their own music under that title, but there's Errant Boy, Stephen McLaren's solo stuff.
I've played a couple of Stephen McLaren songs, and it's just him and his piano.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. Because again, that blowing away, because you think, well, how forceful can this be?
I can't remember what song it was, but it was one song last year that I just thought, wow.
It wasn't We Used to Go Raving, was it?
It was. It was that.
I saw him play this year there's a little cafe on Victoria Road in Glasgow South Side called Milk.
Right.
And they had a kind of open mic night, but they used to get like invited guests to end the night, and he was the invited guest through. And the place, I mean, it's a tiny place, but everyone was there. It was just, We Used to Go Raving, just capturing everyone and singing along. It was one of my nights of the year. It was fantastic.
I think for me, one of the other things is videos. There seems to be so many great videos going out at the moment. There's been 3 that kind of stand out for me. Watch Take the Bear.
No, yes. No, they're a fantastic band.
Yeah. So the video that they done for Tonic Youth, I think it's brilliant. It's so simplistic, but it's brilliant. It just walks about on a beach with the
what do you call it, board?
The boards.
Sandwich board. That's
the sandwich board hanging down, and it's just such a brilliant track. But I think for me, the lyrics in that track as well. Coming from the Central Belt, you kind of grow up. And you fall into this trap where you're drinking
tonic wine,
and it was more cider for me. But you can see where he's coming from, and it thinking, I kind of get that. I can understand your point of view there, but I think it's brilliant.
I don't think there's many bands that have released the kind of run of singles that they have. Every single track is an absolute cracker, and often with a cracking video to go with it. But they're a superb band.
The other one, Josie and Clark. She's done a video for Slender, Sad and Sentimental, which I'm impressed I remember to see that. Yeah. And I remember playing this on the show, it was only about 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yep.
And when I'd heard it, I thought, I'm not sure about that. But then the more I listened to it, the more I thought, that's brilliant. And then as soon as I played it, you said, wow, this is great.
Yep.
But then I saw the video for it, and the video's even better. The video just makes it so much more fun. And I won't talk about the album, because I'll talk about that. I like it, but
hint.
But again, it's just such a wonderful voice, and it's another thing that's kind of taken me by surprise. The kind of folk element that's kind of influencing my musical taste at the moment as well.
Yeah, there's a real thriving, for want of a better word, folk scene. I mean, often electronic music's involved and all sorts of different things. No. But some amazing music. She was someone I didn't know till I heard her on your show, and I was like, I'll have to check that out. And I think that's one of the great things, again, about shows like your own and other folk, is that there's so much. That's the other thing. There's so much great music.
So much great music. Because when we always try and, we don't do it deliberately, but we've kind of fallen into we only do 24 tracks a week.
Yeah.
Which is more for my OCD than anything, because it just makes 6 tracks.
What if you get a big 7 minute long track? You got to balance it out with.
Then I balance it out with lots of short tracks. Which has happened actually.
Yeah, no, I can understand it. I'm only laughing because that's exactly what I would do.
So, but to fill 24 tracks a week with new music, you would think that that'd be really difficult, but actually it's not.
Well, when I started the LP radio show, I had exactly the same thing. I thought, well, I've set my stall out here. It's going to be 2 hours of Scottish music. Okay, you've got an incredible back catalogue to rely on, and what I did was, play tracks that I'd reviewed on the site over many years. But increasingly, I felt I can almost fill this up with brand new, really good brand new stuff. There's some stuff which is just not for me. I'm not a massive metal fan, for instance, so I tend not to put that on because it's just not. There's some great stuff, but I'll listen to it all, and I just think there's amazing stuff out.
We've said this to the people at the station, that if you don't like something, then you're not going to talk passionately about it, and that's going to come across, and you're going to sound like you just dislike it because you've got nothing to say about it.
So you can't keep people on.
Aye, no, that's it.
If you are passionate about it, then I think it comes across. You usually go, you're throwing your arms about, Gary. You can tell you like that. You know?
You always dance in your chair when you like something.
Yeah.
Which,
but that's the kind of response you want, is that kind of gut response where you listen to anything. And I now know through, for instance, the SAMA Awards, the Scottish Alternative Music Awards, which have good, I think, really good categorisations, which shows you that there are thriving areas of music that I didn't know anything about.
There's a hip hop.
Yeah.
I looked at that and think, Scottish hip hop, that's not something that you
would have been aware of, no?
It's not something you see bandied about quite a lot.
Sure.
But I know you're right, it opens up so many different doors. But there is, because I think I think they bring more kind of electronic stuff to our show.
What's that?
Electronic music.
Yeah.
Which I think is something, again, that's been going well as well. I'll give my friend Ian Foxwell a plug here and say hollow beams.
No, that is actually good. He does the stuff over in Japan.
He does. He was based in Glasgow, but he moved over to Japan and he's released this collection of previous singles and new singles, and it is it's about 9 tracks on it or something like that. But it's something that I've always, Boards of Canada and things like that, have always been my kind of thing, and amongst everything else. But I still like electronic music as well.
There's two kind of real atmospheric electronic albums that come out this year. Not albums, but Youth Team, which is Angus Upton, who lives in Braemar as well.
Right.
There's a scene in Braemar, but he just basically making it in his own house. This amazing electronic sounds, which again hint at landscapes and all sorts of things like that. And then someone else called Stanley, and I can't remember the background, but they just send me the music, and it's that kind of, you could chill out to it, but I think it asks more than that. You actually just listen to it. You don't have it on in the background, there's something there. And it's the categories that you go through, whether it's jazz is another one, which I didn't really know a lot of the jazz music going on. You think it's played by older folk in, clubs. Now, particularly through, I think, the Blue Arrow, the bar and club which has opened up, there's some amazing young jazz musicians kicking about as well. Yeah. One of which I've just, before I came here, did my most recent music review of last month. And you've got Katie Doyle, who has been playing in Glasgow. I've seen her over the years, and this incredible kind of Ella Fitzgerald, Dinah Washington style,
She played the All Day at St Luke's last year, I think. I'm sure she opened up, plays the piano.
And it's stunning.
Yep.
Quite stunning.
Yeah, when you said Kitty there, I've seen her.
And she's kind of at the heart, and there's lots of other people. There's Timmy Allen that plays with Awkward Family Portraits. He's an incredible guitar player, and Corto Alto are a band that are based, and I've just seen Fat Suit as well. And there's these incredible jazz musicians. So it's wherever area you seem to go to, or whatever area you're interested in, there just seems to be something interesting and new going on.
Nice collection going.
So back to our lists. Is there anyone else that you want to mention?
I think I've not done most, but you go for you throw something into the mix.
You want me to throw something into the mix? Hold on till I bring it up again. Do you know what? Quiche. Yes. There's one track that stands out, Grey Matter. I just think it's so much fun, and it's just a great track. There's something just really nice about it. I love the way it's recorded. It sounds quite. It's got a kind of 60s vibe going along it.
I think I said it was like the Zombies or like the Kinks.
Yeah.
It's got that kind of mild psychedelic vibe about it.
But I just think it's such a fun song. And it's something that kind of stuck with me as well.
Their latest release, Silhouette, is actually on the music review I've just done, and I think they're a very interesting band.
I don't know if I've played that one, I'm not sure.
I don't think so.
Yeah, you should check it out, because it's different, but it's recognisably them.
Yeah.
It starts out really quiet, almost like a kind of soft rock ballad at the beginning, and then it just builds and builds and builds, and then you've got this almost kind of Dinosaur Jr. wig out at the end, It's a good video as well.
There's another EP actually that kind of goes along with Nicole and Elliot in the kind of Americana kind of style, but the Flying Penguins. That was a fantastic EP. Because we had Nicole come in and do a show with us about the Flying Moon Festival before, but she hadn't even mentioned anything about Flying Penguins. We never played them, we never spoke about it. And then all of a sudden I found out she's putting out this one track. I can't remember what the single was They put out a song just beforehand.
We could find out and mention it on the site. But that's
a typical bad research from us.
It's actually the EP is one of my favourites of the year, and that's another example of someone sending you stuff and going.
Anti-Money, or I'm going to say Anti-Money is just a standalone single.
Yeah.
And then Bodies and Artifacts was the EP.
Bodies and Artifacts, nice.
But I think it was something really nice, and it's that kind of Americana vibe. But again, it just flows through it.
They were possibly my discovery of the year because I didn't know anything about it.
Well, they put an album out in 2014. They had no idea about this at all. And then when I went back and listened to the album, you could kind of see where you thought, well, I can see where they're coming from there. But then to see it develop over this time, they've obviously spent time building on it.
Yeah, one of my favourite releases of the year.
But it's a great release.
Did you see? Have you seen them live?
No.
I
did see they done one in
the Glad Cafe.
The Glad Cafe. Too busy to work.
So one of the gigs, to go back to gigs, I'm going to maybe talk a few more about favourite gigs, but one that I think was, as we said before, it was the first place that we actually met, was the Play It Like a Woman double A-side records at All Dale. And that was a fantastic day, which introduced me to people I didn't yet know. Joe Foster was one, Curdle another. They also had people like Martha Fionn, Luna, Life Model, and Lou McLean, I think was that.
Yeah,
was Lou McLean.
Which was an amazing lineup. It was just a great day, and there's been a lot of that. You know, these all-dayers and weekenders and things like that going on. There's some great live, value for money live stuff.
I think I don't want to say there's too much, but there does seem to be, you can go to something every other weekend, and it's nice that you've got so much choice.
It is difficult though, and it seems difficult. Oh, you poor things! You've got too much music to go to. But sometimes you think, right, I would love to go to about 5 different things tonight in Glasgow alone, and no, never mind what's going on elsewhere.
What?
And it's just such to make that choice seems really unfair at times.
Well, I think we had a band called Attic Lights in the show just before they released their album. And their album launch was in the Old Hairdressers. And that night they'd said to me, we've got Man of Moon in stereo. There was somebody else playing. There was about 4 or 5 different gigs you could go to, and we've booked the worst possible night for this. Nobody's going to come to us. Well, I'm going to be there, so it's fine.
There's the band Attic Lights, they've been going for a while.
I think it was the third album they'd said. Because it was funny because...
Loving the Time of Shark Attacks?
Yes, it was on Elephant Records.
Yeah.
They'd... Colin McCardle, who plays guitar in the band, used to go by the name Zurich, and I had this 7-inch single.
Oh, I remember this now, yeah.
And I'd loved this song for years. It came out in 2001, and I couldn't find it in Spotify, you couldn't find it anywhere. All I had was this one record of it, so I'd have to go and play it every now and then because it's just such a wonderful track. And then I saw his name in the press release for Attic Lights, and I thought, is this the same that done Zurich? And they were like, you're not the only person that's ever asked that question. And then when I looked at their Wikipedia page to find out, but it didn't mention anything on it. And then when I looked at the Wikipedia page a couple of days later, they thought, well, we better update this for Colin as well. But
that's the other thing that you find is often you go and see bands and you'll say, hang on, that guitar player also plays in that. I mean, there's people that are just playing in multiple different bands.
Well, it's like West Princes were playing in Carla Jason's band as well, which I don't think we knew about.
Oh, well, she was playing with them as well.
She was playing with them. I can't remember what it was, but there was a lot of crossover there. But I think that's one thing that we found, that I don't want to say we kind of had to muscle our way in to the Glasgow music scene, but we had to get ourselves known. And that's where we came up with the idea of inviting people in to do kind of shows. Because like you say, you can't go to everything.
No.
So getting to meet people
and talk to people, and them to trust you that that you're not just
picking
asking for music. We're going to play it. We're enthused about it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That this is what
you're
we
not
like
just
doing.
looking for free music to get sent to.
We are enthused about it and stuff.
So that's kind of where the idea came from for inviting Ian, and then we had Lloyd from Olive Grove and Angus from Double A side. So we kind of went through the rounds with them all.
Talking of great videos, as you were a while ago, one of my favourites, again, was Broken Chanters Wholesale, partly because poor Lloyd got kidnapped and bagged up. And check it out, it's very funny.
He did mention that at the gig on the moor, didn't he? He said, he apologised, he says, what was it he said? He said something about his kids are still after him or something. He did mention that at the gig. You
should check it out, it's very funny.
And I did mean to check it out and I forgot all about it, but yeah, he said that.
Poor guy gets bound and gagged and kidnapped for the thing. He's had another great year, you know. I love Olive Grove do it.
I was going to mention a track from Olive Grove, and it's Joe Mango.
Yeah.
I think the Joe Mango and Friends EP, I think that's our second EP, as Joe Mango and Friends. It's absolutely stunning.
Yeah, no argument from me. I'm a massive Joe Mango fan.
And there was a track with, I think it's A. Wesley Chung.
Yes, it is.
She does a track with, I can't remember what it's called, I'm trying to bring it up. Wait, I think Wait's just absolutely stunning.
Again, Joe has been on the podcast. The only person that we had to ask back to do it because we ballsed up to record it, and bless her, she did as well. But she's just a fantastic singer-songwriter.
You're trying to remember it.
Yeah, I'm trying to, yeah. But I knew you would pick that, so I didn't have to go back and try and listen to it because I thought Mark would pick that, so it was okay then.
Yeah. Were you at the 9th birthday party that they had in CCA?
No, that was the night I went to see Cosy Slippers, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was that night. Because again, that's another night where you had Savage Mansion were playing in the Flying Duck. You had Lloyd's birthday party.
Yep. And Angus from Double A side was putting on Cosy Slippers, who came over from Seattle, so that was the reason I went to that gig.
I think there was something else that night.
I think there was as well.
There was a fourth thing that you thought, well, you could go to that as well. I can't remember what it was.
It was a great night, and what they did, because there was like 12 bands.
Yeah.
And you thought, how are they going to get them on? And but they had the three of them on, and I mean, it finished up with Joe Mango, Chrissy Barnacle, and then Carl Easton, and what a way to finish any gig. That was just superb. Each playing a track, 3 tracks, but one at a time. It was
I think the Archipelago series that Olive Grove are putting out, I think it's a brilliant idea. I think the way the record sleeves look fantastic, everything about it looks really beautiful. And Jared Salesi and Chrissy Barnacle. Was it Chrissy Barnacle?
Yeah.
Again, it's so well put together. And the next one, Pocket Knife and Moonsoup.
Yep.
We played them in the show last week and it was brilliant.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed.
They did a showcase, I might have been as part of Celtic Connections, way back in January, which I saw at the Hug and Pint, and so they were all on stage doing their bit, apart from a Pocket Knife who came on separately then because it didn't quite work with what they do. And they were a discovery for this year. It was fantastic. But but Lloyd never fails to give us good music. For some reason, his taste absolutely changed my mind, so I always know it's going to be good.
No, I think that.
Well, you're saying about discoveries as well. One of the discoveries of this year, I think we both agreed in the night when the first night we met at the Double A side. Mm-hmm. What was it? What was the name of that album called?
Play It Like a Woman.
Play It Like a Woman. Curdle. Mm-hmm. And although, because technically the album was out last year, I know it's been re-released this year. But they just blew me away that night. I thought they were absolutely fantastic.
But everyone that was there that I spoke to who saw them play had the same reaction. They were that, one, how come I've never heard of them before? And 2, they are amazing. You know?
And I've seen them since because they supported Gum.
Oh yeah.
In what's that? Off-Band Principle. Is that
Off-Band Principle?
Off-Band Principle. They supported them at the Hug and Pint as well, and I went along to see them at that as well. And I just think they're fantastic live, and I bought the album that night when we were in, and I think they've played nearly most of the tracks from it on the show.
Play every track from it almost.
So is there anyone that you haven't yet mentioned? I've got a couple of names I could put forward.
Well, one of my highlight, you know, sometimes you just like to lose yourself in a band.
Yeah.
Shred.
Yeah.
And their single, because I was kind of picking singles, I went for Rot. And it's just seen them when they done Stag and Dagger, and then I seen them at Out With as well, where they were playing like a wee Italian cafe, and I remember getting in early doors and thinking, I don't think Shred are going to be playing in here, and it was phenomenal, just so loud.
Again, a bit like Dong Cells, they'll blow your socks off.
Yeah, absolutely. But
in a different way, a
yes,
more punky kind of immediate way, if you like.
And really like them, and again, really looking forward to what they do next year with an album coming out and stuff. And the other band I've got down for excited about what they do next year, and two ways they could go. I picked the Fauna with track Breathe. And I went with that, and that's relatively new. And we've just seen them. They were supporting Lemon Drink, for their single launch.
And there's a band who we could talk about Lemon Drink, but on you go.
But Fauna, and I remember thinking, wow, she's amazing. She's got some voice. This is really good. And on listening to it and the couple of singles that we got that I have of theirs, I was like, they could either go away where I wouldn't like it, or I do. So it's like I'm interested to see where they go. So I really wanted to get a mention in for them, because I think I'm really looking forward to hearing more from them. As I say, I might not like it, but from the track Breathe, I think it's fantastic.
It was one of the cringe moments for me as well.
Oh, I know. On you go.
I went to the toilet and left Gary and my brother standing several pints deep by this point, standing talking to this lady.
Always a danger.
It was a real danger. They're standing talking to this lady. And it turned out that they thought she was a mum from Lemon Drink.
Yeah, I didn't realise it was Fauna that were on stage. I thought it was Lemon Drink that were on stage, because I hadn't seen Lemon Drink and I hadn't seen Fauna. So I got them mixed up.
Terrified.
I know, probably.
I'm just thinking, well, I can't leave you two alone here.
And you did mention one as well. Another band I'm looking forward to an album coming out, and we've had a kind of love affair of them for a while since we've seen them at Electric Fields.
Oh, Tide Race.
Yeah.
Okay, I love the Tide Race as well.
Well, we do have, but I was more going for West Princes, and you mentioned them earlier.
I mentioned them as well.
Yep, and their new single, Eat My Shell, I really like them. I've got a lot of time for them. I've seen them in Hug and Pint earlier this year, and I think they're playing on Saturday night, but this might go out afterwards, so...
It will go out afterwards. Ian would kill me if I gave it to him and said, "Can you get this out for Saturday night?"
I'm looking forward to what they do. It's different. The track out, Wet Bark is a Slug.
Yeah, that was from a couple of years ago. And I've always been waiting to see what they would do. And then Carla J. Easton was kind of working with them, and then they're kind of back. And I did message them to see if they're possibly, and they said that. Fingers crossed, we should have an album out next year from them. Yeah.
And I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do.
Just realised the crease in my notes, and I couldn't read it. I'm thinking, what have I written there? Is Antimony and Flying Penguin. So that's I'm like, what's the name of that? So, I wanted to also talk. To me, this has been a really great year for pop music, kind of unashamed pop music. I'm thinking of I just went to The Girl Who Cried Wolf.
Right, okay.
Launched their latest single, but they've released 3 cracking songs.
I think I've only heard one of them.
Yeah, I think we have only heard one, but again, you were talking about people who are in different bands. Audrey is in Broken Chanter, she's in that, she was in Hector Berserk.
And she's in another band called St Andrew's Fall, who I highly recommend. I saw them live a few weeks ago now, more of a rock type thing, but really check them out. They're good. They've got a single out, so I highly recommend you check that out. She's just astonishing. Again, great drummers. We talked about that right at the start, but another great drummer. And The Girl Who Cried Wolf, and they were supported by Anna Sweeney way back when, which is just I love my pop music.
Yeah,
make no bones about it. And this is a great pop song. But I suppose, is it a genre that you guys tend to play, or is it more?
Oh, I do.
I'm trying to think of anything we have played along that line.
I think
we did play the Girl Cries Wolf.
We played that. I think Edwin Organ would probably fall into the kind of pop bracket as well.
That's what I mean. There's lots of all 3 of those. There's a twist to them. There's a
kind of left field thing going on with them, but I think you could put Edwin Organ into kind of pop.
I think often it's a phrase when you use it. Some people go, "Oh, that's not for me."
See, but
actually, I'm quite happy to say how much I love my pop music.
But I think we say indie pop quite a lot. There's a loose connection to Scotland with the Cosy Slippers, and that Stephen from the band's family came from Partick.
I'm going to throw something in and see what reaction I get here if it's classed as poppy.
Okay, hit me with it.
Walt Disco.
I would say so, definitely, but with a real twist. Walt Disco are a very interesting band.
I would say it's poppy because you can put it back to what the Associates You know,
exactly.
I'm old
That's what I was saying.
And therefore, they've brought this, and you go, where are they going with that? Now,
that's what I was raised on, weird pop music on top of the pops when you were too young to go to a gig and you were like that. This guy's playing a chocolate guitar, he's dressed as someone from the East. It's weird. And I think that's the kind of bands I really love. And I think this year has been absolutely brilliant for them. And that's another great example. There's a Dundee band called Heights, HyYTS.
Yes.
And they did a song called Car Crash Carnivore, which again...
Did you not ask to play that in our show and we couldn't?
Possibly did.
And we couldn't due to the language content?
Yes, that'll be right. It probably got some bad language about it, I would think. But they're a band to check out. And I think they've maybe been signed by Warner's. I think they might be right. But... a fine band, and again going back to the end of the year, someone who's released a single who I have loved for a long time is Zoe Graham.
Yeah,
she had an EP, Hackett and Knackered, which I think came out last year. I'm fairly sure, maybe even the year before, definitely. And she's got a new single out, Gradual Move, I think it's called. I'll check that out when you guys are chatting, but it's just fantastic. She, again, live, has her own style, plays her own style of guitar, keys. It's quite incredible to see play live, and it was great that's come in near the end of the year. So because that's what people think at this time of year. We start thinking about the best of list, best of podcasts as we're doing now. But actually, there's new music coming out every week. That, you don't want it to get lost.
Well, it's the likes of, we mentioned them, I mentioned them earlier, but there's the Freeze band called Tide Rays, which their album comes out on Friday.
Yeah.
And when people put out albums at this time of year, you think, because it happened as well last year with Beer Jacket. When that album came out, it was left off a lot of lists, but it would have made a lot of lists as well, but because of the timing. So it's just...
getting everything at the right time, yeah.
Aye, it's just the danger of that. But I think one other track for me that kind of stands out is Melonhead by Ardent John. And I just think...
Oh, Ardent John. Now, that's a great record.
Yeah. Do you know, and the actual track, Melonhead itself, I think it's just such a nice story. There's a nice background to it that ties in that Melonhead is where they would set off from Ireland to go and live in the New World. And they wouldn't see... And the lyrics come across that and they... Aye, it's one track.
No, it's a good album. I'd listen to it, and there was been a few tracks on it that I'd liked, and some that would brought onto the show, and then I was one of them a grower for me. You know, you go back to something because you go, well, I liked a couple of tracks, and every time it seemed to be as if there was more and more growing on me, and I really liked it.
I can't remember, I think it was probably one of the first things I kind of wrote about for the website, but I think there's been some things that have kind of struck me. That I think, do you know, I'm going to write something about this, because I don't think myself is writing reviews. I just think I'll just write something down and I'll put it out there. Let's just go for that. But it was one of the ones that kind of struck me as, this is something special about this album and single.
If you're moved to write something, it means that something has moved you to do it, because it's not an easy thing to do, and you've really got to think. You can't just say, that was a nice tune. You've really got to kind of think about it.
You need to think about it. Because it was when Lloyd came in, he had used the term glacial. He said, I called this glacial. And I thought, what the hell does glacial mean? He's like, it's just a word that you use. And then I found myself sitting thinking, can I use glacial for this? Yeah, it was kind of strange. But
Aaron Arctic was glacial, his early stuff. It was a Gradual Move was the Zoe Graham song, and she actually won, going back to the Samas, she was the best acoustic act of the year. We haven't touched upon the Scottish Album of the Year Awards. I'm just interested in what you think about it as a whole process, because I'm really for it, but some people kind of slightly take against any awards for music.
I think it throws up a lot of different interesting music for us.
Definitely.
There's a lot of things that are on it that we have played and we would play, and then there's a lot of things on it that we think,
yeah. Well, but that is Scottish music, so it's so diverse. There's going to be stuff on it that you've either never heard of or you weren't going to take to. But what was it, 273 albums this year?
Almost 300 albums. But that's the interesting bit for me, because it was handy when with the radio show, because suddenly you're like, there's loads of things that I can
so
pick.
Many different things you
can
pick.
And you can't obviously listen to them all, but you can give it a good go, and that's the bit where you think, I've never heard that, and that's right up my street. And, you know, and it's probably not going to sell loads of records or whatever. And you see, that's when you see all the different genres that you would maybe never dip your toe into.
Well, that is exactly where I was going to go, and I was going to go with it was actually the last year's, and because we were trying to find ways of getting new tracks onto the show and stuff like that, and getting myself out there, and it was we looked through the list, and I had a system of trying to listen to as much of it as I possibly could.
I think we still done that this year as well.
And then we did do it this year, but as well, an artist I came across that I don't think, I don't even know what kind of genre of music you put it in, but Corinne Polwart.
Oh yes,
yeah,
right, folk, I would say.
Folk, right? Right. So that there's absolutely no way that would have had any interest to me whatsoever. I've openly admitted before I started doing this, and then she had that A Pocket Full of Wind Resistance, something like that. And wow,
she's amazing.
Just if you were anywhere near me round the time that I'd been listening to that, you had to listen to it. Yeah. People bought it on the back of that, and some of them didn't necessarily like it, but they bought it because I was going, you need to listen to this, you need to get that. It was phenomenal. It was just something, the story through it, the history of it all and all that, and it was just amazing. And she's amazing.
So certain people that are absolutely steeped in music, and she's one of those, you know. And I think one of the interesting things about that folk scene, well, scene's a horrible word, but that is that a lot of the musicians there, they're doing something new, but they know the history and they bring that with it. I think Alistair Roberts does that, I'm a big fan of. I think Finlay Napier does that as well. And Corinne Polwart, nobody does it better. And of course she did her Scottish songbook
as well, this year,
which was all about a celebration of Scottish music from the past and present too.
I think you'd always get a champion, Catherine Joseph, on the show. That album, there was something special about that album as well.
Well, that was one before just being a music fan. I remember her winning the award, and I'd hadn't got the album.
Yeah.
Don't know why I hadn't got around to getting it, and then we played a couple of tracks on the show, and been to see her live.
No, she's amazing. She's very, very special indeed.
Just you can't. I don't know how you can describe it. It's like the hairs on the back of your neck go up and stuff like that. Because we went to see her when she done the one, and it was the Mirrors, and she was all dressed up, sort of thing. And she was quite aggressive on stage at that, because I've seen her at the debating chambers as well, and she's joking with the crowd. But at that one, she wasn't. She was just sitting staring at the crowd, and it was changing mirrors and stuff like that. And it was like wow, and her voice just amazing.
But I think going back to the Scottish album, it throws up so many different things. Because the Fergus McCready album, it's not something that I would have ever, if I'd read this is what it is, it's not something that I would have played, but listening to it, do you know?
And we did do a show based on it. We done a show based on it. The last 20, we played a track from all 20, and maybe some of the stuff that we wouldn't necessarily have played or came across, that undoubtedly we wouldn't have came across. And it's good and diverse. And again, to compare it to any other music award, you can enter for free. Mm-hmm. You're not paying any money to put it in. So I struggle to see really much negative in it. I'm sure people will, but it creates a bit and gets it out there and stuff like that. Do you know, obviously some albums maybe should get through that don't and things like that.
That's people's personal
that's what's going to happen.
Choice, absolutely right. And a good example actually was the Anti-Flow album that won it.
Yeah. Probably
wouldn't have listened to that much. You know, I'd heard some of his previous stuff, and it's not really for me. And actually, I think it's fantastic. It's a real kind of tour around the world. Go take to Mexico.
Yeah. Well, that was that again when it got down to the last 20. When we'd listen to the album, I can't remember who had wanted to win. Who did want to win? Was it Catherine Joseph? I think it possibly was at the time. You know.
Yeah.
It was Catherine Joseph, and I remember the Anti-Flow album being one of the albums I was like, oh, this is a surprise. I wasn't expecting that, and it was really enjoyed it.
So, what about other favourite gigs of the year? What have you been at that you want to mention?
I think there was one set for me from Lemon Drink that they done for part of the Flying Moon Festival, getting back to that. But the first time I saw them at that, I thought, wow, they were brilliant. There was something just, I didn't expect it. I wasn't sure what they were going to do. I'd heard they just sent it last night from Glasgow, so there was a kind of anticipation there that you think, well, this will be good, but what's it going to be like? And then as soon as they started, I was just like, this is brilliant.
Yes.
You know, they looked like they were enjoying it. The crowds were enjoying it. It was a great set. So it was a really nice one for me.
They're a fabulous band. I can't wait to hear what more of what they do and see them live again. Absolutely.
Yeah, couple. I know we did mention that all day.
That's just your answer for everything. Cardle.
Again, we just mentioned Catherine Joseph when I seen her at the debating chambers. I'm sure that was this year as well. She was fantastic. Do
you know Bellhouston Park for Mogwai, Twilight Sad? We missed Admiral Fallow, but for the Cure gig.
Oh yeah.
No, we missed. We missed Twilight Sad.
I think we saw the last one. I feel like
I think we got in for the last one. Well, I have a long love affair with the Cure. They're probably the band that got me into music in the first place. So getting to see them again, because I did see them the last time they played the Barrowlands and the last two Scottish gigs, which were in the Playhouse. Seen them the 2 nights they played there. They played, I think it was a Friday, Saturday, and I was at both their gigs. So to see that, well, I had seen them in Budapest as well, but to see them again playing Glasgow was, I do like the Cure.
And getting to see Mogwai
I know that's not Scottish. Well, we do like Mogwai. How many times we've seen one of the bands we've seen probably the most.
Probably the most.
Yeah.
I'd probably put them up there. But seeing Mogwai is just an experience in itself. It's quite incredible.
Yeah, it's quite incredible. Yeah.
Well, talking about, again, going back to my obsession with pop this year, C. Duncan, I saw him play a couple of times this year. He played at Maryhill Community Hall, and then he also played as part of the Glad Cafe Weekender, which was another one of these 3-day or 2-day events.
Well, I think that is the first time we'd been at the Glad Cafe this year.
Yes, it was, yeah.
And you talk about fines, but finding the Glad Cafe is just a wonderful space.
Yeah.
Do you know, it's a wonderful wee venue, and you just think...
They put on so many good things, not just gigs, but, film showings. And
well, even you saying that, I'd never been into the Hug and Pint before.
Ah, that's true.
And went to the Hug and Pint, and I remember thinking, wouldn't I like to see this full? And then the very next time we went, it was sold out for rest, and it was like...
I made the major, I should know, it's a schoolboy error, but I went to see Biz, Biz did 3 nights of the launch of their album, and I was right down the front, right beside the speaker as Biz gave it the full beans. It was great. I mean, it was a great gig, but my ears are ringing for praise of it. It was great. Comebacks, maybe. It was great to see Biz come back and with an album of such quality.
Aye. Because Biz are one of these bands that I think even Ian said at the time when he was on the show that there's such a divide between the love and hate with Biz. But
I've never understood that. I never ever got that. And I was never a big Biz fan, but I do like that album. And so it kind of came as a surprise to me because all I remember is Candy Pop.
Aye.
That's what you kind of associate with them, and I think that's kind of done them a disservice.
I think so. Anyways, because they made some great records back in the 90s as well.
Martha Fionn as well, seen her live, I think. I saw her twice this year. Both live band, full band set, and then just her.
She's another great songwriter.
Yeah, do you know they were great sets as well.
I'm struggling to think of the gigs I've been in. That's old age thing.
That's because you just drink too much.
There's always that when you're. But we say that a lot of these kind of the venues, you're seeing at the Glad for the first time, the Hug and Pint, and it's great that there are these, particularly the smaller venues, that's the perfect place for a lot of these bands.
Yeah.
Yes, that there are some, you see them there and you maybe never see them in that. That's what I thought about Rest. This is great to see them in this size venue because there's every chance they're not going to play this size venue again. But then sometimes you go and there's maybe just 5 folk in the audience and 6 people on stage, but that can equally be as interesting, and it's good. And then you get mono, and you get too many places to mention.
Well, I think going back, when I first started going to gigs, you either went to the Garage or you went to King Tut's to see bands or the Barrow. There wasn't this expanse of different places, but now there seems to be so much more.
I think there was always little venues, but it was just knowing that was going on, And I think they kind of hopefully they'll continue to work and be supported because it's not an easy thing to do.
But I think we'd spoken about this at something. I think it was yourself who spoke to about this, but you're at things sometimes and you want to go out and just get people in off the street and say, come and watch this is brilliant. You need to actually see what's...
I think that's part of the problem with so many gigs going on. I'm not saying there should be less, so that I can go to them all, but it is a problem because you've got people who are real crazy music fans who want to see live music, and it's just such a shame that there's so many clashes every weekend. In particular, like Cloth had their album launch recently, and poor old Attic Lights, the same we getting the short end of the stick, we're playing across the road with Astrid and Sleazy. What a double bill that is.
Yeah, no, that's true. Aye. But
I'm still trying to think of gigs.
I don't know what else we've been at.
No, you were both at the last night from Glasgow all day.
Yeah, well, that was that for me. I was desperate to see Broken Chanter, and I know we've spoke about that. But
that's another one actually. What was it? Larbert? No.
Oh, the Shuffle Down Festival.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it in Larbert?
Yeah, it's Larbert.
But it's just Larbert. Who puts on gigs in Larbert? Do you know what it's like? It's Larbert.
And they're good. Lodgestick the Bear, Paper Machine Music.
The great
Broken Chanter was there.
I can't remember
the guy. Remember the guy. He's on Pictish Records.
It's getting late. It's getting late.
I was only at that.
He plays accordion.
I don't know. Wow.
Plays an accordion.
Callum Easter.
Callum Easter is good. And Eagle Easter.
Yeah, Callum Easter played at that, yeah.
Well, it was nice because I got to take Harry along, who's 5, so that was her first gig.
Oh, brilliant.
Which was nice. Yeah. But she could only stay to a certain time, so I had to leave before Broken Chanter came on.
Yeah, well, we're taking Iona to see Idols. She does like Idols right enough, but we are taking her to see Twilight Sad on Saturday night at the Usher Hall.
Fantastic.
So it's nice that you can actually take, because again, Martha Fion's doing something in Edinburgh, I think in January, and it's an afternoon thing where you can take your kids and all like that, right? We're going to see, we're going to a gig together.
Dragging me along to another gig.
And I'm quite excited. We're going to see on Thursday, I'm going to see, on the 5th of December, Admiral Fallow.
Oh, yes.
Now, Admiral Fallow, I've had a soft spot for them for a long time, and it's good to see them coming back, and hopefully they've got new material coming soon.
Yeah, they're a fine band. Is that St. Luke's?
That's St. Luke's,
I think you've just sparked my memory. I think I might see you there. So, as we said at the very beginning, this is part one of a two-part look back at Scottish music. So, I think that's the perfect place to end part one. And I'll see you guys at Cumbernauld FM very soon. But in the meantime, thanks Mark and thanks Gary. And we'll be back soon with someone completely different and probably another best-of list, to be honest. Cheers.